since ancient times, in the world of the dragon race. This saying ghastly been passed down as a legend. Drains are known to have lived 1,000 years and can only bear children with the one they truly love. So any child born to the dragon race is a miraculous fruit of incredible love, which was considered a lovely saying. However, there was one dragon from the clan of the Black Knight who gave birth to a human's child and had fallen into despair. She could never be with the child's father, who was a human, and because of the power curse put in her, she had to part with her child early on. Left behind on her own, she was not accepted by anyone. The other kids and people around regarded the child as half-dragon, clearly stating that her eyes give them creeps, and she was said to never be one of the Black Knight clan again, which might cause a ruckus if the other dragon clans find out about it. They all thought of what to do with the child as they thought of killing her, but then they all agreed to hide her for the moment. After a while, the child was stuck in a cave at the edge of the village, and all she could do was grieve silently, all alone. The girl thought of what she was told, that the children of dragons were the fruit of love, which she regarded as a lie, since nobody loved her. As the kid was grieving, Taylor came in, telling her not to expect her human father to come and protect her, and with that, she will have no one on her side. The bullying never stopped, and the child became more of pariah every day. There was no one around to protect the half-dragon child. The child lived in misery every day, and she was smaller and weaker than her peers and could not stand up to them, and it wasn't as if she could escape to the outside world, which was even more dangerous. The biggest thing the girl could do to herself was to lie down. The child has always believed that if she suffered and endured, the story would end eventually. Taylor came in, telling Jana that can't look after her anymore, and with that, the cruel wheel of fate kept turning, and the story of this young, unloved half-dragon was just beginning. Taylor told Jana that they won't be able to look after her any longer because the other clans have noticed that they have been hiding her. Taylor told Jana not to hold that against her because the only reason why she kept her alive to that time was because of the village she made to her mother. As Jana heard this, she ran towards Taylor, asking her what was going to happen to her, of which she was told that she had someone else who shares her blood, besides her deceased mother, and his name was Diamid Belafanian. Jana was told to go and find the human male, and Noon knows he might take her in if she told him she was his daughter. At that point, they all left Jana, telling to do as she pleases right from that moment on. Jana never expected that she would meet Diamid so soon. Diamid Belafanian was the biological father of Jana in the novel. Our protagonist is currently inside, and she possesses Jana's body. In the next few years, Diamid will become the ultimate villain of the world. In the novel called The Blade of Revenge, Rosian was male protagonist, and he takes revenge on villain Diamid for killing his mother. This novel has been a fantasy novel that he had enjoyed reading in his previous life. In the original story, Diamid was described as a great mage who locked away his emotions and became corrupted. Diamid was originally a hero who was respected by the public until the woman he loved suddenly abandoned him. Then, for some reason, Diamid was being accused of being a murderer, and in his despair, he was punished to the point of eliminating his own emotions. A few years later, Diamid became a villain and a true murderer. Diamid even turns a blind eye towards his own daughter being killed right in front of him. When the protagonist turned 17 in the novel, the dragon murdered her as an honor killing. Diamid was watching his daughter die, as he said to her that just as her birth was insignificant to him, her death means nothing to her also. Jana began to wonder why all fathers are the same, even though she was not expecting much. But she can't believe that she got another father who doesn't care in the world again. In her previous life, Jana's name was Min Bobe, and when she was 15, she was beaten to death by a father who didn't want her. Bobe knew fully well, right from the moment she was born into the body of Jana, that she can't change destiny. Jana grabbed her bag, but still she was a little surprised by what just happened. Jana was an extra who was supposed to die before the main story even begins, because in the original story, there were only a few lines written about her, and it was her fate to die even before the main character's mother dies, and that was why she never thought she could have her own storyline. As Jana was walking by, she saw a snowdrop, and it's her first time seeing it in her life, and she could acknowledge the fact that it was so pretty. Jana could not remember when last she stepped outside of the cave, and she never knew the world was such a beautiful place. Jana was allowed to do as she pleases, and she keeps walking with the determination to find her way to the magic tower where Diamid lives. Jana thought of the fact that even though her story has taken a different turn, She would probably end up dying at 17 since she never thought Diamid would protect her, but she knew quite well that he will be lucky if he doesn't chase her away. After a long hour of walking, Jana arrived at the magic tower, and the main reason why she came around was because she only has 7 years to live. Although, that was just a drop in the bucket for dragons who live 1,000 years. Jana was being escorted by the guard into the castle as she never thought to be greedy since she had no big attachment to live on, but all she planned to do was to enjoy the small luxuries that she never had in her previous life before she died. The clock was ticking as Jana was patiently waiting while having tea, but she had been waiting a lot longer than she expected for about 2 hours. During the process of waiting, Jana thought of the fact that she might be an headache if a daughter Diamid never knew about showed up suddenly, even though she is being treated like a burden. During the process, Jana thought of easing herself into settling down while she was being neglected. Jana found it easier to find food in the magic tower than in the dragon village, which seems okay to her since she won't starve. And at the same time, she won't be bored as there are lots of books she could read. Jana wanted to avoid her father, Diamid Belafanian, who was the man who loved the dragon Vesris of the Black Knight clan. Jana thought of the fact that the two clans would have been happy together if only the incident never happened. 10 years back, the world was said to be filled with ghoul because of the Ghoul King's curse. In the chaos, the order that the living and dead abided by collapsed, and Diamid wanted to eliminate the source of the problem, the Ghoul King. And with that, he joined the Ghoul King Subjugation Party, whose members were all incredibly powerful. Among the members he joined, he met Jana's mother, Vesrisi. Unlike other dragons, Vesris was compassionate and had a carefree personality, and she had a warm side to her that seemed to truly care for the people of this world. And right at that moment, Diamid fell in love, and they both agreed to get married. So far so good, the Ghoul King had finally been defeated, but at some point, Vesris decided to call off the wedding. But as Diamid was trying to ask her the reason why she wanted to call off the wedding, since he never believed that she did not love him, the moment Diamid tried touching Vesris, she gave him a mark with her dragon claws and added that if she knew Diamid would cling to her like a little child, she won't have toyed with him in the first place, adding that she can't tell if Diamid was naive or just dumb, and at that moment she left him at that spot. Although things ended up that way, but Vesris truly loved Diamid, even though it was just an act to hide the fact that she wouldn't live long because she had been cursed by the Ghoul King. Jana thought of telling Diamid the truth of the matter, since she knew the full story and that might stop him from becoming a villain. Jana understood that it's impossible for her to convince him easily, since he is someone who has sealed away his own emotion due to the fact that he was betrayed. After a while, Diamid came into the room where Jana was, asking her if she was the one who claimed she was his daughter, and added that she should be prepared to take full responsibility for wasting his time. The moment Jana saw Diamid, she could see her biological father and also felt an incredible aura, making her conclude that he is an ultimate villain. Diamid asked his assistant to explain the situation of things to him, of which was read to him that just before the death of a dragon named Vesris of the Black Knight clan, Jana was said to be his daughter, and it's said to be a claim without any proof to substantiate it. As Diamid heard the child was from Vesris, he reached for Jana, who thought he was ready to kill her at that moment. Diamid checked her face as he confirmed that she really looked like her mother, but Jana could not see a single emotion in Diamid's eyes as he looked at her. But still, she can't take her eyes off him. Jana began to wonder why she couldn't take her eyes off him, as she guessed it might be because their eyes were similar. Diamid made it clear to Jana that the fact that she has the same blue eyes as his does not mean she is his daughter, because there is no way a woman who called him disgusting would bear his child, and with that he left the room, saying that things look pathetic since he never knew what she expected from him. As Diamid left, Jana already knew he would not believe that fact that she was his daughter, and from there, his assistant took over the situation since he was the one who always has to clean up the mess, since Diamid never gave an order, which means he is leaving the rest up for his assistant to decide, as she sat down opposite to Jana, asking her how he should have her taken care of. The assistant, known as Michael Belafanian, is currently 18 years old, and in The Blade of Revenge, he was a faithful follower of the ultimate villain Diamid as well as his nephew, making him also a villain who will contribute the most to Diamid's evil deeds. Michel was considered a brilliant mage, who is only second to Diamid, but apparently after losing his parents at young age, he becomes obsessed with magic and accomplishments, which made him end up in a twisted personality. Michael, who was supposed to become such a terrifying person in the future, seems excited to be messing with Jana. As Mikhail was talking, Jana took a sip from her tea, telling Mikhail to do as he wished, and this statement got Mikhail shocked, as he could see that Jana looked completely at ease not to talk of being scared, and with that, he decided to be more direct. Mikhail confronted Jana, telling her that she must have looked forward to reuniting with her father, but it was a shame things didn't turn out as she expected, explaining deeper that their tower master, Diamid, is not someone who cares about family ties. Michael introduced himself, as he also made it clear to Jana that he is also her cousin in formal terms. As he was about telling her how she could survive at the tower and calling her Asherid, immediately, Jana corrected him of what her name was, leaving Michelle in shock as she clarifies that her name is Jana and not Shared. Obviously, Asherid was the name Jana's relatives made up for her because they said her real name smelled too human. After Jana clarifies Mikhail, he was surprised to know she had two names as he asked her what would happen if he refused to call her by Jana, and at this point, Jana mentioned that there is nothing she could do about it. Mikhail could sense that his threat does not seem to be working on her, but he thought within himself that probably she had no common sense, because she was a dragon, and he decided to wake her up to the reality of her situation. Michael told Jana to follow him as he gave her a tour of the magic tower. As Jana was moving through the magic tower, she checked through the window, and she would notice that it was snowing earlier, but not anymore, and at some point, every window shows different scenery. Jana stopped at a window to check the view outside as she was surprised by how Amazon IG looks bit. Michiel, who had the intention to frustrate Jana, asked her to follow him as fast as possible, yelling at her, but Jana was still calm as she told him she is coming. As they keep on moving, Michiel keeps on telling Jana to keep lagging behind and then he will have to leave her to get lost in the big tower. As they were moving, Michiel began to explain to Jana that the windows, ceilings, stairs, and walls of the tower are made with magic, and almost every area is made with magic. Mikhail added that weak and little ones like Jana are prone to getting lost and falling into traps. At some point, Michiel asked Jana if she was feeling scared already, of which she claimed she was, but deep down, she could only sense he was being childish. Jana knew quite well that she would have fallen for all Mikhail's act if she had no memories from her previous life, and she would only be happy to have just found a family. Jana reminded herself that she is someone who is not welcome anywhere, and her goal is just to enjoy the small luxury since she never needed a family. Jayan was taken to the Magic Tower dining hall, and on getting there she was first amazed by how much food there, and with that, she was glad the dragon abandoned her. At some point, Jana realized that the mages in the dining hall are not really interested in eating, which made her confirm what she heard about the fact that mages don't really care about eating. At some point, the mages in the dining hall began to ask what Jana was doing there, as they thought she was with the chief mage. At some point, Mikhail had to scold the mage by telling them to mind their business, but the aura at which he said it was quite not okay. Jana noticed the way Mikhail talked, and she could confirm that he had a bad personality, and with that, she decided to get out of the way before he lashes her. Jana went ahead to take some food to eat, but she was making use of her hands to pick them, and just then, Mikhail moved close to her, asking her why she was not making use of plates and tongs, since he could see she had breadcrumbs over her clothes. Mikhail collected the bread from her and placed it on a plate. As she was about to sit, Mikhail mentioned that it seems that a noble dragon like her doesn't know how to eat lowly food that they eat as humans. Jana told Michiel that she could feed herself, and there is no need for him to be there. Mikhail, in a sarcastic manner, asked Jana if she was bothering him, or if someone like him could not dare to eat with her, and at this point, Jana could see that Mikhail was a pain to deal with. As Jana sat down to enjoy her meal, Michiel made it clear to her that it's forbidden for her to leave leftovers, telling her to make sure she finishes the food. Jana thought of it and was quite confused because, according to the book, Mikhail was someone who isn't interested in anything inside magic. But that was not the case for now. Jana started eating, and as she tasted the bread, she could see how good it tasted, making Mikhail jump into conclusion that Jana had never tasted bread before. At some point, Mikhail noticed that Jana was crying, making him wonder what happened. Michael had no choice but to ask Jana if she was crying, but she refused to admit it. But then, Michael was yelling because it was something he witnessed himself. But Jana looked away. Initially, the cause of the cry was because the bread was well baked, but then Michael was worried that someone had said something bad to her while he was not looking, as he was curious to know who would dare to do that since he had wanted to make Jana cry first. The more Michiel thought of it, the more he kept guessing, and at some point, he even thought the bread was spicy. Michiel was still trying to figure out why Jana was crying, and at that point, she requested for a new bread, of which she was given. Michael began to wonder what was happening with Jana, because she finished a lot of bread in just a few minutes. At some point, Michiel had to make use of the soundproof magic and then asked Jana if she was still a human because he expected her to eat a lot of food in her tiny body. Jana clarified that fact that half of her is still a dragon and she is not a complete human, and in her dragon form, she weighs several hundred kilograms. AD, thinking about how big she was originally, she will be needing to eat that much every day. Deep down to herself, Yarina knew she was never able to eat anything that is as delicious as the bread in the dragon village. She understood that they might seem to have taken her in, but in the real sense she was neglected, and her relatives never cooked any good meals for her to eat. Jana has always hated her village people for being so cheap with their food, and with that, she went to get another plate of bread, since there was no one in the magic tower that could deny her good food. As Jana was coming back from where she went to take more bread, she denied a strange feeling of someone intensely staring at her, as she wondered if it was a lady she saw, but she knew quite well that it's not from the lady's direction. But then she concluded that it might be her imagination, but someone as truly looking at her. Jana went on to eat her bread, and as she was done, her and Michael proceeded to the library. And on getting there, Michael told Jana that he had business to attend to, and with that, he told her to stay and play in the library. Immediately, Jana was ready to run off, and just then, Michiko pulled her back, explaining to her that she needed to be very careful, even though he's not sure she is Diamond's daughter, because dragons are a very precious ingredient to humans, because the first potion ever made was mixed with the dragon's blood, and the holy temple is also made out of dragon bone. BTU. Since adult dragon are strong, they usually target the young ones before they awaken. Michiel made it clear to Jana the reason why the young dragons are being protected by the adults, and since Jana had no guardian, she never knew what could happen if she was careless, because every once in a while, there is a crazy person walking around in the magic tower. Jana's response was that she will risk it regardless, making Michiel question what kind of kid she was. But still, Jana thanked him for worrying about her. At this point, Michiel pretended to be strict as he began yelling as she was leaving, saying he is not worrying about her, but he was just trying to tell her not to get into trouble since he won't be around. Jana could see quite well that the Michiel from the fantasy novel was not like how he was now. But at the same time, she was thinking it might be because the main story hasn't started yet, but still she felt there is no reason for her to understand, since it won't change anything. Michiel left Jana in the library, of which she went inside while she decided to pick a book to read. But the library was too high to reach AMD. As she spotted the book she wished to read, it was brought to her by some magical element, of which she thanked the element for bringing the exact book she was thinking of reading. It was no clear to Jana why the place was regarded as the magic tower. Jana sat down to read the book, though she was not good at performing magic, and everything she knew was from spying on her aunt when teaching her cousin, and then practicing in secret since there's no way she could ask someone to teach her. Jana opened the book to read as she was ready to figure out some theory herself, since she was curious about other types of magic besides that of her clan. As she was looking for a book to read, she heard a voice asking her how she was doing, and as she looked at the person, she asked who he was. The man introduced himself as Moben, a mage in the magic tower. The name sounds new to Jana, as she considered him as a less important character. Moben told Jana that he just came by to see why a little child like her was in the magic tower, as he asked her where Michael went to leave her all alone. As Moben asked this, Jana already knew something was off because dragons are born with a very sharp sense, and with that, they can sense and feel things much better than humans. The situation made Jana begin to wonder how he knew she was with Michael, as she later came to a conclusion that the strange gaze she felt at the dining hall was from him. Jana asked Moben how he knew she was with Michael. Moben began to explain that he passed by them earlier, as he further explained that they are currently on the research submission period, and every mind is a bit on edge, so it won't be good to be alone in a place as such. The research submission period rang a bell on Jana's head, and she could remember reading about it in The Blade of Revenge. The system Diamid demands everyone to follow in the Magic Tower is one that is merit-baser and result-oriented. Anyone who hands in their submission past the deadline or fails to show any meaningful result will be banished from the tower, and that is what it is a sensitive time for all the mages. On top of that, it might have been especially strange for them to see a child in the tower, especially where outsiders are strictly prohibited from entering. Nevertheless, Jana remembered what Michael told her regarding the fact that dragons are a precious ingredient to humans, and in addition to that all, Mobin feels a little suspicious. Mobin then told Jana that it's not safe where she is, asking her to follow him. Immediately, Jana told Mobin that she's fine where she was, and her friend Michael said he will be back soon, and just then Jana decided to get rid of Mobin by driving people's attention. Everyone present there were surprised to hear Jana regard Michael as her friend. Mobin was trying to convince Jana into following him, but she refused, and at some point he was getting too loud, which made other mages complain. As the other mages were conversing, Mobin was trying to tell Jana to follow him outside so they could discuss, but then Jana took her book, and as Mobin was speaking, she pretended not to hear him speak, and this made the other mages complain of noise. At this point, Mobin left, and as he was gone, Jana made a sigh of relief as she was watching out for threat like that, and with that, she decided to wait there for Mikhail to return. At some point, Jana was taken to a room she would be staying in as she was asked by the maid if she would be okay there, because the room was supposed to be used for storage, and in addition to that, the maid was concerned because she seemed a little young to be alone there. Jana mentioned that she will be fine, since she is stronger than she looks, and in addition to that, it's something Mikhail wanted. Jana requested for a blanket she could use to cover herself while sleeping, of which the maid went ahead to get her one. Jana thought of it and concluded that Michael made a wise choice, and she could remember him telling her that her room will be in the servants' quarters. It was clear enough that the tower master, Diamid, does not seem to like her, and her staying in the central chamber might make things worse. Mikhail made it clear that Jana would feel comfortable staying in the servant quarters even though it might look old. Michael asked Jana if she had something to say, and with that, she asked him if it would be okay for her to stay in the magic tower. Michael answered, saying he's the one to take care of her anyway, and he also considered it as an opportunity to observe someone from the dragon race up close, and with that, he made a special exception. Jana thanked Michael for that. Jana could now see that being from the dragon race can sometimes be helpful. The maid told Jana to let her know if she needs anything else, but the blanket she was given was quite much. As Jana was asleep, a tail dew stuck out whenever she lets her guard down, and it was her first time having a room of her own. Jana could see the advantage of going to the magic tower as she could eat as much as she wanted, read as many books as she wanted, and more than anything else, she has no relative hounding around her. Jana wished every day would be as that as she could see how good it was, and as she sleeps, she wishes the day after would be much more peaceful. The next day, Jana sat at the table, ready to eat, as Michael was asking her if she had a good sleep. Jana never gave a response, but then Michael added that there are rumors that ghosts are appearing in that room, and whispered what one of the mages said when passing by the room. Jana was speechless as she began to wonder why Mikhail was already in the dining hall by that time in the morning, as she thought he was there to toy with her. Jana thanked Michael for giving her such a nice room as she loves dark places that remind her of caves. Michelle was shocked to hear this, as he expected her to be scared of ghosts, which she was not. In response to this, Jana said to Michael that the living are scarier than the dead. Michael activated the soundproofing magic as he told her she had gone past maturity for her age India. Complete weirdo territory as he asked if all dragons are like her. Jana said she wanted to ask him something, also, as she asked if all pure-blooded humans like Michelle. During gathering conversations, Mikhail was being referred to as Chief, which was a surprise to Michael, but Jana didn't gather some, she could just refer to him casually. Michael scolded Jana for speaking to him that way, but then she asked him what he wanted her to call him, since he was not like a friend to her. As they were discussing, a lady showed up as she could see that Jana and Michelle are having quite a great time together. Jana was quite shocked to see her, since she never noticed the lady was so close to her. Jana kept wondering who she was, but the lady said that she is quite a fan of the dragon race. The lady requested to join them on the table also. The lady was Hilvenzia of the Forest, and she is the third-ranked mage of the Magic Tower, as well as the chef, and she is also almost on par with Michael in terms of skill. Hilvenzia had gained mastery of alchemy at a young age, and even though she may appear young, no one actually knows how old she really is. The white hair that shines like a silver thread, and it's the only thing that hints at her true age. Hilvenzia W.S., someone that sees everything around her as ingredients for alchemy. Hilvenzia asked if she could join them on the table, and at that time, she told Jana that the first potion was made with the dragon blood, of which she said yes, And she added that she also knew the holy sword from the temple was made out of dragon's bone. Hilvenzia could see how smart and bold Jana was, and with that, she asked what her name was. Hilvenzia mentioned that she loves Jana beautifully colored eyes just like that of Diamid, and asides that, she is more interested in her as a person. As Hilvenzia was talking to Jana, Michael slammed the table, asking Hilvenzia why she would be eavesdropping through his soundproofing magic. At this point, Hilvenzia clarifies that she rules the dining hall, and she could hear anything even when she does not want to. Hilvenzia added that she could see that Michael was toying with Jana, and unlike him, she has a very important business with her. Michael said immediately that the only reason why Hilvenzia wanted to speak to Jana was to do something terrible to her. Hilvenzia tries to say that there is no difference between her and Michael, but Mikhail makes it clear that he had no intention of using the kid as an ingredient. Michael began to realize a quiet amount of mana, but then Hilvenzia was trying to tell him that it might be too much for Jana, but he made her understand that she has no right to mention Jana's name. But this was already almost leading to a fight. At this moment, Jana coughed, which made the fight halted for some time as she said she wanted to get some more bread, and she wanted to pass by, but she told them they could continue the way they are doing. This whole occurrence was a surprise to Hilvenzia and Michael. Jana stacked the bread as much as she could, and she put a jam spread on it as she ate them. Hilvenzia commented that Jana seems quite unique, since it's rare for someone to act nonchalantly between Michael and her. Hilvenzia badmouthed Jaba to the point that she said it to her face due to the fact that Jana acted deaf and dumb. As they were discussing, Hilvenzia suggested that Jana try out other dishes as well. Hilvenzia added that she made other delicious dishes, and this was when Jana discovered that the menu ate the magic tower changes. Jana explained further that she never knew there were so many different types of foods in the world. Hilvenzia couldn't see why Jana ate only bread most times, which seems quite enough for her since she could be filled by it. Deep down, Jana thought of it that she never wanted to get too used to the dishes in the tower, just in case she gets kicked out. As they noticed Jana was lost in thought, they called her attention back, as they clarified to hear that things will surely get better since her father won't just leave her all alone. Jana began to wonder why she was being talked to in such ways, as he thought they were only trying to cheer her up. But she was already beginning to feel a little warm spot in the corner of her heart for some reason. Jana thought of this thoroughly, and she could feel a family vibe between them, but then she could remember what her own family did to her by abandoning her, which made her conclude that everyone is just interested in her because she was a dragon and she knew what would happen since she read the story. Jana was fully aware that Diamid, her father, would never change even though Hilvenzia and Mikhail tried comforting her. Jana called herself back by telling herself not to rely on any other person since the only person who can protect her is herself. The day before, Jana was busy cleaning up her room, of which she knew quite well that everyone in the tower would make use of magic for the cleansing. But due to the fact that she could only use magic, she had to do the cleaning with her own hands. Jana never wanted to be a bother to anyone by asking for their help, and as she was done cleaning her room, she decided to do laundry next, as she then packed her clothes and was looking where she could get the laundry done. At some point, Jana had to halt since she could sense some people were coming as she could hear them talking about their research assignment. Jana hid herself as they were passing by as she saw the mages pass by, but Jana at some point is becoming more paranoid, possibly because of what happened to her. The mage passing by said it to himself that he needed some sleep, and Jana could see that everyone has been busy working on their submissions as she felt like she is the only one that has nothing to do. As the two mages were moving, they came across another mage who mentioned that the look on the face of the other mage makes them look like zombies, as he then splashed magical water on their face jokingly to wake them up. As he splashes the magic water, the mages begin chasing after each other, but then Jana was all soaked as she concluded that she doesn't need to do laundry any longer. Jana was quite worried because those are all the clothes she had. Jana thought of the options she had. She thought of changing into a dragon or starting a fire and drying clothes, but either option is not going to work in the magic tower. Jana concluded to go and sleep like that. Back in the dining hall, Jana went to meet Michael at the dining hall as she greeted him. Michael, on the other hand, was asking her if she was trying to act cute. Jana clarifies that she is not trying to act cute, but she has a cold. But this was a surprise to Michael, because he never expected a dragon to catch a cold, because he expected dragons to have strong immune to diseases and curses, since that's what Diamid told them. Jana could now see that Diamid seems to still believe the lie Vesrys told him. But then, Jana explained to Michael that no matter how strong it is, a living creature can always get sick at the fact that she is just a half-dragon makes her weaker than others. Michael looked concerned to know what caused the cold, but Jana was not ready to tell him she was splashed with magic water, as she only explained that he did her laundry the day before and she had to sleep in wet clothes. Michael was quite surprised to hear her say she slept in wet clothes, which made him slam the table quite hard. Jana was shocked, which made the bread she was eating dropped out of shock. Michael told her that he could have used some simple magic for something like laundry, but as he thought of it more, he realized that she was unable to use magic. Jana was speechless at first. Then she explained that since she is from the clan of Black Knight, she could only use black magic, and she had never learned how to use other types of magics. Michael grumbled, but in the long run, he told her to follow him. Jana was taken to her room door, and as Mikhail was knocking there as no response, which got him angry, and as he looked at Jana, he got an idea of what he could do. And with that, he faced Jana, telling her that upon what he explained to her about mages, she followed him cluelessly, and with that, he is going to sell her as a test subject. Michael told Jana to stay still as he activated his magic and made use of it to carry her hit. The moment he does that, he noticed he hurt his back, and at this point, Jana reminded him that she told him already that dragons weighed hundreds of kilograms, but where Mikawa got it wrong was that he, though the weight is only accustomed to when she was in her dragon form. As Michael was carrying her, he was making use of his magic to increase his strength. Jana apologizes as she could see that she is having trouble controlling her weight because she is sick. But at this point, Michael had to tell her to stop talking since she is heavy. Jana was telling Michelle to put her down if she is heavy, but in return, Michelle was mimicking the way she talks, and with that, she decided not to talk to him at that moment. There was a change in how Michael treated Jana because the original Michael would have tried to stay away from her if she told him she was sick, and this made her wonder if Michael was very much amazed that the dragon was sick. On getting to a certain gate, Michael told the guard at the door they got to get the teleportation magic prepared. As this was done, Michael began to make some chants. Jana was quite shocked to see the magic gate, and also the fact that Michael was making use of the teleportation magic circle quite easily was a surprise to her, since it's considered as a complicated type. Janina could now understand why Michael was being considered as one of the few geniuses throughout history. Mikhail carried Jana as soon as he was done, making the chant, as mentioned to her, to hold on tight because they will be outside the magic tower. As Jana and Mikhail went out of the magic tower, they arrived at the maid's place to which he was welcome. Jana could feel the eagerness in how Mikhail was greeted. The master of the maid there welcomes Mikhail, since they have been expecting him. As Michael was being led inside, Jana had to stop him and ask if he was really going to sell Gur off as a test subject, and she added she would rather be a holy sword than being a potion. Michael was surprised to hear that, but he could relate it to the saying, like father, Luke daughter, since it's clear enough that she took after Diamid in that aspect. Mikhail reassures her that he won't sell her of right away. The maid present there were all eager to make dress for Michael, as one of the maid was imaging her, making a blue uniform that matches his eyes. The other maid suggests making use of red so as to bring out his facial features, AMD, then make use of a shoulder straps. The third maid suggested the use of white uniform since it looks classic, and S8 NCE Mikhail is a Prince Charming. They will need to capture his beauty AMD elegance. It was evident that all Amid had their own idea, and with that, they all decide to make different color of dress for Mikhail. Michael announced to them all that taecloth they will be making will not be for him but for Jana. The maid tried telling Mikhail that they are meant to make him outfit for the palace ball that day, and with that, they won't be able to make anything that isn't planned ahead of time. Mikhail suggested that they cancel his own dressmaking and make that of Jana. They all were in disregard to this because they knew quite well that Princess Elia will not be in approval of that. Michael explained to the maids that he already told Elia that he won't be going for the ball, but all she did was threaten to kill him if he doesn't go. One of the maid commented that the cause of that was because he never make time to go and pay her a visit, but Michael is not always inspired to go because of Elia's nagging nature. Mikhail was Princess Elia's nephew and the great mage Diamid was his uncle. Princess Elia was known as the greatest swordmaster on the continent, and she is Mikhail's aunt, and this could be said to be an ironic destiny. Princess Elia was the biological mother of Rozhan, who happened to be the main character in the Blade of Revenge story. Elia and Viserys became close friends after they bothered joined the Ghoul King subjugation party. In the distant future, Elia was an important character who gets murdered by Diamid. Jana was wondering if Mikhail knew quite well that he will contribute to the death of his aunt. Mikhail told the maid to make only one dress for him, because if they try making a dozen as it was one the last time, he promised to blow up the shop. Jana was taken in for measurements as the maid asked her of her age, which she responded 10. As Jana measurements were being taken, Mikhail mentioned that he wanted to stop by the palace for a moment, and this was when Jana asked him if he was off to see Princess Elia, of which he said he is Jot, going to the palace to see her. Mikhail warned Jana not to go wandering off and Shepod to stay where she was. Jana thought of this, and she knew that the main character would also be on the palace, but she was not really bothered because the story started after her death, and with that, it has nothing to do with her. After a while, Mikhail is back from the palace as he was calling out to Jana. He was told by the man there that Jana is currently trying out her new dress, and with that, he had his seat. The moment Mikhail sat down, he began to wonder what could be the cause for Jana being skinny, since she said she was 10, but she could fit into the dress of a 7-year-old kid. Mikhail seems kinda pained, as he knew she was 10 years old already because all he thought she could be at max was 8 years of age. Michael began to wonder if Jana grew up alone just like him, but he also concerned that she might have same blood, just like Diamid, who always told him to stop being lazy since he never brought him there because he was a family. Diamid told Mikhail that he brought him there because he thought he could be useful. Michael knew quite well that Diamid was cold-hearted, and with that, there was no way he would take care of her, and with that, he was determined to feed Jana some other things besides scraps of bread. Mikhail was called to know his opinion on Jana's dress, and as she came out of the dressing room, he was surprised to see how well the cloth fitted her. Elia was busy practicing her swordsmanship, and during the process she was told that Mikhail came to the palace. But it looked Siarbeg to her, because Mikhail hates everything related to the imperial family. Elia asked what Michael came to do in the palace, of which she was told that went to the laboratory and picked up a healing potion. Elia began to wonder why Mikhail came all the way to the palace to pick a healing potion, because there is the alchemist of the forest at the magic tower. Elia confirmed if Mikhail was ill, but it was made known to her that he looks completely fine. As she was wondering, the maid told her the potion might be for his younger sister. Back in the sewing shop, Mikhail decided to get more cloth sewed for Jana as she began to change into different dresses. At some point, Jana seems exhausted, and in addition to that, all the clothes made had been tested. To Jana, the dresses seemed too good to be true, but to Mikhail, they seemed not good enough. To everyone's surprise, Mikhail decided to take all clothes present in the shop that were the best size, which was quite a shock to them all, but they had to have them packed. Jana was shocked as she approached Mikhail, telling him she can't accept all of that, but as she was talking, Mikhail grabbed her cheeks and handed over the healing potion to her. The vial was said to contain precious holy water blessed by a high priest, and also the power of an alchemist. Jana was well aware that the potion would cost quite a lot, and with that, she refused to drink it. At this point, Mikhail pinched her more, but Jana was adamant as she felt the healing potion, and the dresses are too much for her. Michael had to clarify to Jana that he is not doing this just for her, but it is all because he is hiding behind his adorable sister as an excuse to get away from his aunt. Regarding the potion, Mikhail made it known that he is only giving her the heal potion so she doesn't pass the cold over to him. After the discussion, she opened her mouth, and he poured the potion into her mouth. The very moment she took the potion, and just in a jiffy, her body feels so light and her throat does not hurt. As Jana took the potion, Mikhail mentioned that dragons are blessed with magical power, but divine power works on them just like humans also, as he asked if it was because she was half dragon. Mikhail stood up and told Jayan to make sure she never gets sick again as she patted her head, and after that, he told her it's time to go home. Getting back to the magic tower, she went straight to her room as she recollected what happened through, which was that she received a thing from Mikhail, and to top it all, he gave her a potion, in addition to the dress. Mikhail gave Jana a magic storage bag. She could put all the dresses that was bought for her, since he doesn't want her to carry them all with just her hands. Jana began to think about how well she can pay Michael back, but as she thought of it, she had no idea about what he likes. It was clear to Jana that the Mikhail from the novel was different from the one in the present moment, and with his connections and abilities, Mikhail already has everything he needed. Jana thought of thinking of this in a different point of view, and as she thought of it more, she could see you would be needing flowers the most. Jana thought of it that Mikhail might have seen a lot of flowers from the garden already, and she decided to think deeper to get an idea of something that is not really obvious, and after a while she gets an idea and got the magical storage bag. Jana went out of the magic towerny, passing through the hidden gate that led to the secret space. According to the novel, Diamid would go stew in his thought in the White Garden, and a very rare flower of the Empire are said to grow there, and it's known as Lashane flower. Jana thought of this carefully, that the fact that only Diamid knew how to get there is high chance that Mikhail would not have seen it before. Jana decided to drop by since she expected that its Diamid would be put all day, but it was at the same moment that Diamid came back to the magic tower.